what HCPC registration is?
One thing which is very important is HCPC is basically Health and Care Professions Council.
What are the initial eligibility criteria for the overseas physiotherapists? Hello everyone and welcome to the Academically's another podcast, the ultimate destination for global healthcare professionals for exploring migration and career opportunities abroad. I am Sunidhi, your host, and today's podcast is definitely a very exclusive one for global physiotherapists who are searching for the best overseas opportunities. So today we are going to talk about the step-by-step process of the HCPC registration for all the physiotherapists who are looking to migrate to the United Kingdom. So today joining us is Dr. Sonal, and she is a gold medalist in Bachelor's of Dental Surgery BDS from Jamshedpur, and she has an experience in both clinical and non-clinical dentistry. Currently, she is the program manager of HCPC and the other medical and dental courses at Academically, and she definitely ensures that our courses are updated and they follow the latest trends to help all the healthcare professionals like you all. So first of all, I would like to welcome you, Dr. Sonal, to our podcast.
Thank you so much, Sunidhi. It's always great to sit and have a conversation with you and yet one more again. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sonal. So to begin with, we are going to talk about the HCPC registration. So would you like to tell us that, would you like to explain us that what HCPC registration is and why is it so essential for physiotherapists who want to go to the United Kingdom and practice physiotherapy there?
Okay, thank you so much for the question, Sunidhi. So when we talk about HCPC registration, one thing which is very important is HCPC is basically Health and Care Professions Council. So HCPC registration, if you talk about, it refers to the process of obtaining registration with this HCPC, the Health and Care Professions Council. Now, this HCPC Council is actually a regulatory body for health and care professions in the United Kingdom. Which includes the physiotherapists also. So you basically have a lot of occupations listed over there for which they provide registration, right? And HCPC is physiotherapist is one of them. Now, this registration is essential for several reasons. First of all, if you talk about the legal requirement, it's illegal to practice as a physiotherapist without being registered in HCPC in UK. Right. And it also, HCPC ensures that a proper set of standards in education and practice is ensured when you treat a patient as a physiotherapist in UK. Right. Professional recognition is also there, as in, being registered with HCPC enhances a physiotherapist's credibility and also demonstrates that he is a proper one who is committed to maintain a proper professional standard.
Right.
Okay? So, and definitely if you are a registered one, you'll be having more access to opportunities because you will be an identified person over there. And registered physiotherapists, they are all accountable to HCPC because that is the authority which will coordinate them, which will control them about the standards and parameters. So, overall, HCPC registration is very crucial for ensuring the physiotherapists to legally practice and safely practice in UK, while also uploading the standards of healthcare expected in that particular country.
Okay, thank you so much for the information, Dr. Sonal. Now, moving to my next question is that what are the initial eligibility criteria for the overseas physiotherapists who wants to apply for the HCPC registration?
Very simple criteria, Sunidhi. Also, overseas physiotherapists seeking HCPC registration, they must meet several eligibility initial criteria. As in, the first one is definitely your recognized qualification, whether you are a PPT or an MPT. Your English language proficiency holds good. Then your practice experience, so a minimal level of clinical experience, which also accounts for your internship. You need to have a bit of clinical experience. Definitely a good standing certificate, as we all know, in every country they ask for. And completion of the HCPC application process, definitely, because that includes submitting the application form, your supporting documents, paying the necessary fee, and then on the registration.
Okay. And when we talk about the documentation, so would you please like to walk us through the required documentation and how to gather them effectively for the whole process?
Okay, certainly. So first of all, for you as well as to our listeners,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a step-by-step guide for you to have a proper mind map as in how the HCPC registration goes ahead. So please
Right.
lend your ears and be a bit more careful while listening to what I say. So
Yeah.
starting with the required documentation, number one is your application form. You have to complete the application form very accurately, right? Second is your proof of qualification. So your transcript, your certificates, you need to submit all your physiotherapy degrees, ensure that they are properly, attested. That is also very important. It has to be certified with a proper, person. It's all mentioned if you can see the council's website. And translation. If your documents are not in English, you need to properly translate in English and then upload. Then third is your evidence of clinical practice, your employment references. Please collect references from all the employers wherever you have worked to show a detailed plan of the clinical practice, right? Please maintain a record of the clinical experience. A practice log would already help good, right? Then talking about the English language proficiency, which we have already discussed, we'll also be discussing later. Good standing declaration, I've already told you. And the criminal record check is also somewhat they check. So they basically see that if you have been a resident of a particular country, you do not hold a criminal record. So if I talk about the tips for gathering documentation effectively is, please create a checklist for everything. Please contact educational institutions, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
engage your past employers, very, very important. Your professional translation services, wherever you have worked, it should be an organized documentation. Be mindful of the deadlines because you have to keep on checking HCPC processing times and plan your submissions accordingly. And please double check the requirements. So if you follow these steps, it can definitely help streamline the process of gathering documentation for HCPC registration and definitely improve your chances of a successful application.
Okay, that's amazing. So now I would also move on to the challenges. Like, what are some of the most common challenges that applicants usually faces during the document verification process, and how come they can overcome through these challenges?
Okay, so challenges, basically there are a lot of them, but the pointers which you need to keep in mind is your documentation should be very correct. It should not be inadequate, right?
Okay.
Translation issues, English is what is mandatory go there. So translation issues should not be there. Yeah. Verification delays. You need to be on toes with the timeline of HCPC. It's very, very important.
Exactly.
Sometimes, there is variation in names or dates or qualification. So ensure consistency of all the documents. That if you change your name, you need to have a proper proof or an affidavit that yes, you have changed it, it's legally recognized. Okay. And the language proficiency requirement and good standing and all that is definitely. So your documentation has to be proper, your practice has to be proper, your experiences have to be proper, and HCPC is not a big thing if you have that.
Right. So you mean that you should just have all your documents ready, all of the things should be proper available with you, and then there will be nothing wrong, I think, if you have everything right with you.
Yes. So you need to plan ahead, you need to stay organized, seek guidance as we academically provide, and use the HCPC resources and you will get done with that.
Right. So as you have discussed about all the documentation, the verification, the registration, so how long does it generally take for the whole HCPC registration process, and what all factors might affect this timeline?
So Sunidhi, like also mentioned on the website, and the experiences what we at Academically have with the students, it usually takes 2 to 4 months, minimum 2, maximum 4. But if your documentation is really good and everything is on point and you are on your toes with the HCPC, you have a proper timeline, you go with their TAT, so everything goes very well and in a very smooth manner. So your alertness is what makes the process easier and faster.
Right. Okay, that's great. So now also coming to one of the most important points that, of course, if you're going to go to the United Kingdom, you need to know the English language, right? So that, you can communicate with the patients. So is there any English language requirement for the HCPC registration? And if yes, what all tests are accepted in this process?
Okay, very good question and a very important question.
Yeah.
Acknowledged for this. So, see, English requirement is one of the main key criteria for HCPC registration. Okay?
Exactly, yeah.
And if you talk about the tests, so IELTS and TOEFL is usually what they accept. IELTS 7 score, band score 7 with no element below 6.5 is what they accept. And if we talk about TOEFL, which is the test of English as a foreign language, it's an internet-based test which they accept, and you need to have at least a score of 100 out of 120. Also, there are some important parameters which they keep, in mind. Is HCPC does not accept both the IELTS academic. Sorry. So the HCPC cannot accept any TOEFL test score undertaken in the UK. Okay.
Yeah.
They accept both the IELTS academic and IELTS general tests. Okay. Yeah. So that is very important. One more recent advancement or recent update which has come from the HCPC in September 2024 is they sort of accept one skill retakes for applicants using the IELTS test. That means if you have failed in one of the parameters, suppose reading, listening, speaking, writing, you have failed in one, and if the retake is done within 6 months of the original test, the retake results will be provided within the test report alongside with the test results. They are valid for the same 2-year period as your original results. So that is something which is a very good scope.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's definitely a very good news, and I'm sure whosoever is, who all are watching us, they will really get this information, because it's not there yet. Like, we have not got this information yet. So now, like, if I talk about the qualification or, any experience standards, so are there any specific qualifications or experience standards that is there for the physiotherapists that they need to meet for the HCPC registration?
Not specific. If you are a BPT qualified physiotherapist, that will also do. MPT, that will also do. Definitely MPT counts more if you've done a post-graduation. But the thing is, your experience should be really good. Even if you do not have an experience off board, like off college, after college, which we say, even if your internship experience, if you maintain a proper log of experience, of the cases and everything, HCPC does not hold back the application. It's just that whatever you're mentioning in a professional experience, it has to be in a proper and detail.
Right. So there is no requirement for any experience in order to take up the HCPC exam, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's also, I think,
if you have it, it's feather on the cap. If you don't have it, you have to mention it in a very detailed way that, also, when you are passing, suppose you have passed out this particular year, obviously they'll understand that you have finished up your internship and you're applying to the HCPC registration. So that's understood. Your internship is also counted as an experience.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. So now I would also like to ask you that what should applicants expect after submitting their application, and are there any additional assessments or interviews after this process?
See, for a smooth process, you have to be responsive. If the HCPC requests additional information or clarification, you have to respond promptly to avoid delays. You can't delay it, right?
Yeah.
Because it shows that you are very on point. If you're delaying it, then that's some issue. That's what they feel. Okay.
Right.
You have to keep your record. Please maintain copies of all the submitted documents and correspondence for your records so that you can present it whenever required. And you need to stay informed. Regularly check the HCPC website for updates or changes in the registration process. And overall, while the process can take time, understanding the steps and being prepared can help the applicants navigate the transition smoothly. And so this is something which you need to keep in mind. Otherwise, sometimes they ask for interviews if they have something to clarify. Otherwise, so it totally depends upon them.
Okay, that's pretty clear for all of us, I'm sure. Now, coming to my another question, that, of course, if there are 100 students who are going to give this exam, obviously there will be 2-3 students who will not be able to pass, due to any of the reasons. So what are some of the common reasons for the rejections, and how can applicants improve their chances of the success for HCPC?
Rejection. Your course information form. Course information form is the part where you fill in your experiences and your course study in detail. So if it's not in detail, it comes back. Or maybe if they find there's something fishy with your initial documents submitted or your residentship, so that is something which holds good. So rejection usually come on that. But if you're very prompt in clarifying everything, it won't take long.
Okay, that's understood. Now also I would like to ask you that could you please share some tips, or what would be the right resources to help the international physiotherapists who feels prepared and confident throughout the registration process?
Yeah, sure, certainly. So please familiarize yourself with the HCPC's eligibility criteria and
Yeah.
documentations early on, because the HCPC website has comprehensive guides and resources that outline everything you need to know. Also,
Yeah.
in our Academically website, if you open up, we have listed down everything very clearly. That will
Exactly.
help you a lot. You also can connect to one of our counselors. It's all mentioned over there in the chat box, so you can also type there. You can get the information. Please gather the documents early. Start collecting your documents to avoid the last minute stress.
Yeah.
Please be proactive. If your documents are in language other than English, again you have to go for translation. That's very important. If required, study for the IELTS or TOEFL and gather online resources and
Yeah.
be prepared for that. Also, networking with the other physiotherapists is really important. Like
Yes.
Academically is a global healthcare platform which also helps you with the networking. So if
Yes.
required, please join online forums or social media groups and enhance your networking.
Yes.
Seek guidance from the professional association like us. Practice your skills very nicely to have a proper confidence. If there's an interview, you can answer. Stay
Exactly.
organized and be patient and persistent. If you talk about the resources, Sunidhi, HCPC website, the primary source of guidelines, application forms, and updates. Our
Yeah.
website, Academically's website, is really again important, right? Then IELTS and all that, you have a specific website for that also for TOEFL
Yes.
and IELTS, and definitely platforms like social media platforms and groups where you can connect with fellow international physiotherapists is really important. Coming down to the role of Academically,
Yes.
so Academically is providing you a proper assistance with the HCPC registration. So, a basis of qualification, we will assess your academic credentials to ensure that you are equivalent to the UK standards. So, we have a well structured program that includes theoretical knowledge and also gives you an insight of the registration procedure. We show you the
Right.
form, we show you every step by step, what are we doing, what is happening, and on one counselor connect. At each
Right.
of
Right.
the step, okay, this is the step which is happening, everything. We make you understand the clinical standards and help you filling up the course information form in a similar way to
Yeah.
avoid rejections. We also prepare you for the interview if at all it is aligned, that what kind of questions they will ask.
Right.
Jobs. The NHS portal, the National Health Portal of UK, has listed several jobs in physiotherapy.
Opportunities. Yeah.
A lot of opportunities because post Brexit, post the exit of Britain from the European Union, you have a lot of jobs for physiotherapists in UK. So then again, and ongoing learning, definitely we learn from our past students' experiences.
Exactly. Yeah.
We also have the alumni, which can also guide you. So in summary, being well prepared academically helps you throughout the assistance,
Yes.
and also strategically navigating the registration process can significantly enhance your confidence and readiness to practice as a physiotherapist.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sonal. I am 100% sure that, after watching this podcast, a lot of people, who are still confused or who were, still unsure about, how to go with the HCPC registration they will have a very clear picture now. So thank you so much for giving us and guiding us on the whole process of the HCPC registration. It's going to be really helpful for all of them.
Thank you so much, Sunidhi. Again, a great time talking to you.
Thank you so much. Same here. And thank you so much, everyone, for, joining us and watching this podcast. And I'm sure this will be a really great, insightful podcast for you. And definitely we'll be coming up with more such podcasts, on different courses for different countries. So please do subscribe to our channel, like this video, comment down below if you have any queries or questions. We will definitely make sure to answer them. And thanks once again, Dr. Sonal. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.